welcome back to my channel, and a lot of things are different right now. I have not seen you in forever. Hello! So as you can see, I am currently in front of a new background, and that is because I moved. That sounded weird. I have moved to a different part of Los Angeles. I have moved into this new, beautiful apartment. If you guys want to see an apartment tour and all that kind of stuff, then for one thing, give this video a big thumbs up. And also, if you guys want to see like behind the scenes of me moving in, and also just like, you know, pre-apartment tours, like before all my furniture and stuff was in here, then you should definitely check out my vlog channel. I have been vlogging like crazy lately. I took a long break on this channel, and I apologize for that, but guess what? I'm back. And better than ever. I'm also much blonder than I was the last time I was on here, so that's a thing, but yes, I love it. I think it looks so pretty, and I feel like a princess. So with taking a break from YouTube for a little bit, I have not filmed a video, and I have not talked to a camera like sitting down like this in quite some time, so I figured just dipping my foot into the pool, I thought that I would come back with a story time. Yay! The crowd goes wild! Woo! Also, the sun's setting right now. Oh, nuts. Hold on. I gotta fix the lighting. The sun's setting. All right, hopefully that's better. So, as I said, I'm back with a story time, and this one's going to be a pretty good one, I'm pretty sure. I have a feeling about it. Today's story time is the time that I was banned from college. Honestly, talking about this story kind of makes me a little riled up, so stay tuned. All right, so this story is a good one. It's very interesting, and I'm not doing this to like be petty because I'm mad at the school or anything like that. Honestly, this is just something that happens to me because this just weird stuff happens to me on the daily. All right, so I am currently not in school. I am 21 years old, so if I were in school, if I had stayed in college, I would currently be a 4th year in college, and I would be graduating next year. So if you guys have been watching my videos for a while now, then you know I actually did go to college. I went to my 1st year of college. I lived in the dorms. I have a whole story time for that. That will come eventually. And then my 2nd year of college, I moved into a house, and I planned on going to my 2nd year of college and everything was like chill and good. I had 3 roommates. We lived in a house. We were all sorority sisters, and everything was like awesome. So summer comes, I do like sorority recruitment and stuff, and like, you know, I did all the normal college things. And at the time, I was doing YouTube as well. So I was trying to balance YouTube and school and do all of that like full-time each. And then for me personally, YouTube started really picking up, and I just realized how much I truly loved making videos and just creating content and being creative. And I made the decision to take a break from school and just kind of focus on YouTube. And trust me, I know this isn't the route that everybody would go, but for me personally, it's what I wanted to do. And I felt like I couldn't put 100% into everything that I was doing, so that is the decision that I made. All right, so now we're in my 1st quarter of my 2nd year of college, and then I decide that I want to pursue YouTube full time, but I'm left with this lease of living in this house for a full year, and I didn't have any plans to move anywhere. I knew I wanted to move to LA eventually, but like I didn't need to move right then and there, and I wanted to finish the lease. Obviously I couldn't just leave my roommates without someone and like make them pay it and like, you know, lots of stuff. So what I did was I stayed in that house for the full lease year, and I just kind of did YouTube videos from there, and it was honestly one of like the most fun times of my life. I basically got to like hang out with my college friends, but then also just like work during the day, and it was so much fun, honestly. Like, it was probably one of the best years of my life until this whole situation happened. So yes, living in like a college town, there were often lots of like kickbacks and like parties and things, and personally for me, I am not a party girl. I do not really, I think in my whole time of living there for 2 years, I went to maybe like 5 parties tops. My idea of like a fun night in is like Netflix and like snacks and sleeping. That's like the perfect night to me. So one night, it's nearing the end of the school year, and my friends, a lot of my friends are seniors. They were all like getting ready to graduate. I was getting ready to move to LA, and everyone was just like stoked. We heard about this party that was happening, and we figured we'd go. I, of course, was the DD. I'm always the DD, and I was like fine with that. So I was DDing a couple people, and then also one of my best friends, Hillary, was also DDing a couple people. If you don't know what DD is, it's the designated driver, and basically that person is not drinking alcohol for the night. They're not doing anything. Your sole job is to just get these people to wherever you're going, you know, safely, and then get home safely. And to do that, you can't consume any sort of substances and things like that. yet. So we show up and we get in there and I'm just like chilling, walking around, like talking to people. I didn't really know that many people there, to be honest, but yeah, we're just like talking, hanging out for a little bit. I'm gonna be honest, it was pretty boring. So Hillary comes up to me and she's like, Remy, I don't really want to be here anymore. Like, do you mind taking them home? Because I had enough room in my car to take the people that she brought to the party. And I was like, yeah, no worries, no big deal. Like, go ahead, go home. And like, I'm gonna go home soon anyways. I want to go sleep. And she's like, okay, thank you. And then she left. So I'm just like chilling. I'm like talking to people. And then I see that there's this girl there who is very, very intoxicated. People are like trying to help her out and everything. So I come over, obviously I'm sober. So I'm just like, oh, like, let me help. And like, I'm, you know, in a good state to help her out. So I'm helping her out. And then a guy comes up to me and is like, she needs to go. Like, you need to take her home. And I was like, okay, like, no worries, I'll get her home. So this girl happened to live in the dorms and I'm 5'3". I'm a very short person. So I tried to take this girl out and she was much taller than me. So myself and my friend Jessica are trying to take this girl out to the car so we can take her back to the dorm. So we like have her and she's like in between us and we're both trying to like pull her out to the car, like walk her there. And this girl like did not want to go home. So she starts like running and like running around. She's like, no, like I don't want to go. And like goes back inside the house, like sits on the couch and I'm like, I did not sign up for this. Adventure Time was waiting for me at home. I didn't know what to do. So like we pick her up again, we try to take her to the car, we walk her into the car and like put her in the front seat. Eventually we like push her down into the front seat. And then I look back and my front door is open and she had run back into the house. So we have to go back in and get her again. Finally we get her into the car, we strap her in with that seatbelt and we start driving to the dorms. Okay, so we get her in the car, we're driving, we're good, we're like on a good level. We walk up to the dorm and like the doors open and then we walk in and then with this dorm, it's like straight ahead is the cafeteria. In the front, there's like this little living area, and then on the left side, there's one dorm, and on the right side, there's like another dorm, like two different hallways of dorms. And so we walk in, and I look, and I'm like, oh crap, like I do not know which hallway this girl lives in. I have no idea where she lives. I could not, like I did not know. So then we have to make a decision if it's gonna be left or if it's gonna be right, and I went with my left. Of course, I was wrong. So we turn left, and then between these two hallways, it sounds confusing, but there's like a locked door, and you need like your room key thing to like swipe and then get into that hallway. So we go over to the left and I take out her like room key thing and I'm trying to wave it in front of the door, little like beeper sensor thing, and it won't open. I'm like, crap, it's the other side. And I turn around. There's like 5 people just like hanging out at like 2 a.m. in the dorms. I don't know who they were. There was like an RA or maybe like 2 RAs, and then there was like an older woman who was like the dorm like advisor person. There was like another lady there. There were like a ton of people. I don't know why. They were just like hanging out, having a mixer in the living room, but who knows? So they start walking towards us and we're all just like standing there like holding the girl. We're like, oh my God, like what are we gonna do? Like this poor girl is gonna get in so much trouble. And then like a lady comes up and she's like, what are you doing? Excuse me, like what do you think you're doing? And I'm like, I'm so sorry, like this girl, she just needs to get back to her dorm. Like she's gonna be okay, she just needs to get back to her dorm. She's like, no, I have to, who is this? Who is this? And I'm like, I don't know, like I gotta go, girl. I'm just trying to help out this girl. I don't know what's happening. And my friend Jess is like, no, she's okay. Like she just needs to go lay down. Like we need to get her to lay down right now. And my other friend there named Emily was like, yeah, like don't worry. Like we need to get into her dorm. Like we were being like super nice, like calm. It was fine. This girl definitely had too much to drink, but I have seen so much worse in my life, honestly. Like I knew she was gonna be okay. So then the woman's like, no, like legally I have to call the police because she lives in the dorm and like we're responsible for her and blah, 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 blah. And that I do understand. Like I lived in the dorms as well. I get it. Obviously dorms take alcohol and drugs and things like that very seriously. So like I understood it and I was like, okay, like, you know, if you need to, if that's like what you have to do, then I understand, like no worries. And like they call the police and everything. So I'm just like, oh man, like this poor girl, like I felt really bad. So then they're like, okay, like let's go sit her down in the living room. And my friend is like, no, like can we take her back to her dorm at least? Like I don't want her to sit here and have people walking through and staring at her. That's embarrassing. And they would not listen to us. They made her sit down in the living room. That's again in front of everybody that walks through this whole dorm. Like if you want to go to your dorm on the right or the left or the cafeteria or the lockers or the bathroom, like you are going to walk by this living room right in the dead center of like the room and they're gonna see her. And I will admit, my friend is definitely sassy, and so I think her sass came out when she was talking and she was just kind of upset because she was like, this girl like is already embarrassed enough, like don't embarrass her more. Then we're all in the living room just like standing there waiting for like 15 minutes or so for the police to come. And I kid you not, the police, the firefighters, and the paramedics all came for this one girl just like sitting on the couch, just like waiting. Honestly, it was so nice that they all came, and if she really did need that much help, like I'm so glad that they were there. But for one girl, she was just like sitting there like laying with her head back, and they all walk in, like 15 different men, like all walk in like all in their different uniforms, and trust me, like I loved it. I loved watching it, but they like, it was a lot. And of course, with having 15 different servicemen in this one small living room, people that are walking by are gonna look even more. So the paramedics come up to me and tell me that they need to take her to the hospital. So they take her to the hospital, and then I followed too, and all my friends and I went. And then we stayed there till like 10 a.m. in the morning. She ended up being fine. She literally just sat on like a gurney thing, or like one of those like hospital bed things, like in a hallway. They didn't even put her in a room. They put her in the hallway. They didn't like pump her stomach. She didn't need that. She literally just sat there and slept it off for like 10 hours. That's a whole other part of the story, but back to like this getting banned from school part. One of the RAs comes up and asks us all for our school ID numbers. And honestly, honest to God, I'm not lying right now, I could not remember my school ID number. I hadn't used it for like over half the year. And so I tell her, I'm like, I'm so sorry, I don't go to school here. And she's like, you don't? And I was like, no, like I don't, I live around the area, because that's the truth. I didn't go to school, I wasn't enrolled in school, and I just lived in the area like down the street. And so the girl's like, okay, well what's your name? And I was like, Remi Cruz. And she like wrote it down in a note on her phone. And so I was like, okay, like they can't do anything to me. Like first of all, I didn't do anything wrong, and then second of all, I don't go to school here. So then of course I just think everything's fine. I'm glad the girl's okay, and like I vowed, I was like, no more parties, never again, I'm done. I think I'm in the clear, and then like a week and a half, 2 weeks later, my mom gives me a call. And I pick it up, I'm like, hey mom, like what's going on? And she's like, Remi, you got a letter from the school. And I was like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And she's like, it says that you're in trouble for something. I was like, excuse me? And it was like, dear Remi Cruz, according to our records, you were involved in an incident that happened on whatever the date was. I genuinely don't remember. Please give us a call like as soon as you can to discuss what happened. Basically, they just wanted me to call them and talk to them and like tell them what happened that night. And so I was like, well, this is stupid. Like I genuinely didn't do anything wrong, but like, okay. So I call the number on the paper, and this like his secretary picks up. And so I'm like, oh, like, hi, I'm trying to reach this person. Like, can you please tell him that I'm calling regarding a letter that I received? And she was like, oh, he's like actually not in. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I just wanted to let you know, like, I think there's like a mistake. And the girl was like, okay, yeah, like I'll tell him, and then like he'll give you a call back. And I was like, okay. And then like a few days go by, and I still didn't hear from him, and I started to get kind of stressed, because I was like what happens if they like withhold my transcripts or something? So of course myself, a worrywart, calls again. I'm like, hi, I called a few days ago, and you said that this guy would call me back, and he didn't. Like, do you know if he's there? And she's like, oh, actually he's in a meeting right now doing this and this. And I was like, okay, like can you just let him know that I called, and then we can talk about like what's happening? And she's like, yeah, like I'll tell him. And I heard nothing for another like couple hours, and then I got mad, so I called again. I think the guy picked up that time, like without the secretary, like the guy just picked up the phone. And I'm like, hi, I just want to let you know I received a letter saying that I needed to call you because of a certain incident that happened, and I just want to let you know that I don't go to the school. So I just like wanted to clear that and like make sure everything's good. And the guy was, first of all, like not very nice. Like I really didn't do anything wrong in this situation, you guys. Okay, so the guy wanted to hear my side of the story of what happened, and that's completely fine. If you want to hear that, like obviously I'm putting it out on the internet, like that's fine. But there's a few things that really ticked me off about the situation. For one thing, I knew that his intentions weren't like in the right place. They weren't good intentions. I know he didn't care about what happened to the girl. I know he didn't care about like what happened to my friends and I know he solely wanted to just get somebody in trouble for this whole situation, and wanted to find out like where this party was to get people in trouble. So that didn't make me really want to say anything. And then on top of that, I was basically threatened. The guy basically said that until I tell my story, I am no longer allowed to attend the school. So basically, until I call this man and tell him what happened that night, I am no longer able to attend the university. I can't take classes there. I'm not allowed to like enroll in a class. I'm sure there's like a big block on my transcript or something along those lines. Now that made me really upset, because honestly, I know I didn't do anything wrong, and I know it could be easy just to like go and tell the guy what happened and like tell on people, and like honestly, I don't even know if they care anymore at this point. I even told the guy, I was like, so if I want to come back to the school 10 years from now, I have to tell you what happened like 10 years ago? And he was like, yeah, like sorry, like you need to tell me what happened. And I was like, is this really happening? Like, is this allowed? Like, is this legal? For one thing, it's the principal, and also, I just don't have any desire to attend that school anymore. If and when I do go back to school, I definitely won't be going back to that university, and I made that decision even before this whole thing happened, just because solely location-wise, it's not right for me. Like the school itself, like I loved the classes, I made amazing friends, I had a great time, but just like that little bump was just like, just a weird thing to happen. I don't understand why. I don't know how you could like ban someone from a school because they won't tell you a story of what happened just because you want to get some people in trouble for like a party, or even if it is to get that drunk girl in trouble, like what? I don't get it. I just don't get it. Anyways, that is the story of how I was banned from college and how I'm no longer able to attend school there. I have been back to the school a couple times. Like, it's not like I walk on a campus and like security like come and like tackle me and knock me down, but I'm sure if I like go onto the site and try to like enroll in a class, that's when it's gonna be like, no, you can't, because I'm sure they put a block on my thing. But like, again, as I said, I have no intentions, no desires to go back to that school, so I was fine with it, and I was just like, stand up, justice, I need justice. All right, I've been rambling for a long time. I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.